My voice is weak, though.
Turning myself down, too. But that is the first time I think you've ever heard you say that the voice is weak.
My voice is usually never weak.
When
your voice is weak quite often.
If you die before me and we have a video of all these beautiful images of you, at the end I'm just going to hear you look at the camera and say, my voice is weak. And that's how it's going to end.
I will haunt the fuck out of you. I will do things like turn your pictures a little bit to the...
Oh, that was crazy!
Oh, God. If you ever did anything like that, know that I will come back from the grave. Oh, if there's someone who's going to be a ghost, it'll be me. Oh,
I bet you.
I would cross that threshold so easily. For a pure rage, the spirit world would say that one's going through. Just pure anger. Oh, it would literally. I would die and I would become a ghost 5 seconds later. I was like, I'm out for blood. I'd make everyone who wronged me crash their car.
God, I hope I go first.
Feud is back again. Joan and Betty. Feud is back again. I don't have any more words for this. That's a good one. Do you want some tea? Oh, we're being filmed.
We are being filmed. It's just because
we're just coming up with new lyrics. Our opening the theme song from Feud.
Yes, Feud is back. It never left.
Feud is back again. Joan and Betty. It never left.
Someone is obsessed with this song.
I enjoy it. It's very Hitchcock, and it's very of the moment. I don't know what that means.
You and of the moment.
I'm exhausted. Let it be known now, but I'm gonna give as much as I can. I've spent a whirlwind weekend in an undisclosed location, which sounded dirty just then.
Wow.
Anyway, it rhymes with Ban San Cisco.
You know what? I went to San Francisco. And to see Linda Carter sing.
This is going to be a real gay story. Yeah, everybody ready?
True. I went to see Linda Carter sing.
Linda Carter, a.k.a. Wonder Woman.
And so I went.
Jesus.
And heard her sing at some club that I think it's closed now. But anyway, I stayed at the
hotel.
Room. Yes. And I think it is closed, actually, though.
Yeah.
And so anyway.
There are 2 R's in the name. That was always dumb.
Raz. So anyway, of course, it was the first time I was in San Francisco. I flew in that afternoon. I ran to the thing, and this is like when I was 25, so I was dead broke.
Get to the point.
And they said it was a 2-drink minimum, so I had to drink 2 martinis, and I hadn't eaten dinner. So then I got drunk for the show. And so then I went out and stumbled to some gay bar, drank some more.
Speed it up.
And I ended up having sex with this really hot man, and I couldn't remember his name. And then while he was pummeling me, I realized, I was like, oh, wait, where am I? I'm in I was like, Francisco, that's your name. That's how I remembered. San Francisco. I'm coming to rise around you. Here I
Okay, we're going to start the show.
This
because
is a musical episode.
That was appalling.
I don't know the words of that song. Is it Rice-A-Roni from San Francisco? San Francisco.
Yes. Okay, you had coffee before this, didn't you? Okay, I can already see this is not going to go well.
Right now I'm having tea. I hope this goes better than our last episode because I'm sorry for all of you that were watching. Oh, my God. Well, that's a signal. You know what? I told you to take care of this. Someone ordered their fucking delivery food too late. I told him to order it earlier, and he said, I'm not hungry right now. I said, you're going to be hungry. Well, I'm not hungry right now. I don't want to order it. And now his food is here.
And now I'm going to be thinking about my food the whole time.
And now you're going to try to rush through the show because you want to eat. Because your inner fat girl is pissed off.
You know what? That was very, very entertaining. That was, you know what? That's a real moment. Because that means that I'm a real person.
Yes.
They might think that I'm perfect.
You're a real person. All right.
I have flaws.
I'm not going to argue on that.
Where's my pad?
All right.
Ah!
Okay. while you get settled, I'm going to look up.
It's not happening. I was settled, but I'm not anymore. This is a mess. All right.
Okay, I'm going to look up our T for 2. T.
For you.
Thank you. I'm glad you can remember.
Well, you can't, so I have to.
How the fucking show goes. All right.
I love it how all our suggested YouTubes are just clips of old stars now.
Yeah, it's
either just like an old gay man who's like 85. That's what he watches on YouTube.
Either it's that or it's a couple of those
Some
straight
twinks.
man videos like gay baiting people.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what?
There is a whole culture of that.
I hate those
of
people.
like gay baiting. So, people are asking if I've had a gay experience. The answer is no. But
yeah, just because you want views.
I've watched them. You have too.
I have. You watched the one, I forget his name, the brown-haired guy?
Yes!
I hate him.
I hate him too.
He's a fucking dick.
But he's gorgeous.
Come on our show.
Come on my chest. Wow. Sorry if you're listening or watching this early.
Sorry, Mom. All right, let's talk about our
in
videos.
San Francisco. What am I going to say?
Okay, let's...
I got water on myself.
So, let's look at our recap, episode 5. Okay. I hope we have comments. I don't even know. Oh, we do.
Well, there's 2. We can't see anything.
Why can't we only see 2? Well, or why can't we only see 1?
I think, but you can see it on our.
Oh, I don't understand.
But can you see it on
Clint? We need help. Oh, this is from Clint.
It is.
Oh, ooh! You know what? This is a long comment, so we're going to break it down.
This is going to be the whole thing.
Clint says, "I feel like you intentionally." Just so you know, Clint says, "Are you going to sneeze? What's happening?" Don't shoot pee out your puss when you sneeze.
I can't. You ended it. You ended it.
Stop the sneeze.
Sorry, for the podcast listeners,
we are 8 minutes in and nothing is happening.
Because he made me lose my sneeze.
All right. Clint,
isn't it the worst?
Clint Hurley says, I feel like you intentionally titled this episode wrong so I could correct it.
No, that's just someone can't fucking spell.
He said, so bless. No, he said the title. I titled this episode what you told me. I titled it, It's Showtime. That's what you wanted it called.
I did.
So, Clint's shading you.
Anyway, how is he? Why don't you read it to us?
He said, I feel like you intentionally titled this episode wrong so I could correct it. So bless. I was shook when you skipped right to tea. Oh, he was shook when we skipped right to tea bags and was about to read you, but we caught ourselves. Last week was a mess. We forgot everything. Then he said, I always love your banter regardless. Oh, Clint, we love you too.
Love you.
Catherine Bigelow's current... Okay, here he is. He's
yes, he is schooling us.
Catherine Bigelow is currently the only woman to have won an Academy Award for
Best
Best
so.
That is horrifying.
I thought so,
sad.
Clint.
That is fucking ridiculous.
For the Hurt Locker.
Yes. Other than the women you mentioned, Lily Wertmuller was the first woman to be nominated for the award in 1976 for it. I'm bored. For an Italian film, just read it. And Ava DuVernay was only nominated for a Golden Globe for Selma. And I remember this. She was snubbed for the Academy Award. Although, I didn't think she deserved it.
I'm going to say something that's not politically correct.
I liked a lot of Selma, but I didn't love it.
I'm going to say something that's not politically correct.
What?
Selma was preachy as fuck.
It was, yes, I agree with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
And it was overly directed. And I saw 13th on Netflix, and she directed that wonderfully.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
But Selma is overly directed. Sorry, Ava. Sorry. I'm sure you're watching.
Yeah, I'm sure Ava DuVernay is watching. All right, Clint
Thank you,
Hurley.
Clint.
Thank you, line producer. You are our line producer. All right. Do you want to start? Please, we're 10 minutes in. Nothing's happened. I'm
so tired.
You know, I get more enjoyment from trimming my ball sack right now. So just start this fucking show.
Interesting transition. So I think my first moment. This is interesting because I have to comment on the fact that Olivia de Havilland, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones,
I love Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Pennies. I've got to bring that jar full
Catherine
of pennies.
Zeta-Jones was, when I was straight, she was the woman who I said I would want to do things with. Because I loved her in Zorro because her hair was...
By that
her
you
hair
mean
was
dress
so
her
pretty.
up?
Yes. Her hair was so pretty in Zorro when she turned...
Curl her eyelashes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought she was beautiful. I loved her... I used to say
Okay.
her exoticness.
Now I'm going to go on with my tea bag.
Okay.
After that distraction. And, but Olivia Havilland has been a narrator. And now
Yes.
she's part of the story, and
was
I
great.
love that when that
It was
happens
great.
because we get to see her actually take. And they talked a little bit about her relationship with her sister, Joan Fontaine, and that was supposedly a very ugly feud as well.
But you know what I loved too about that, to add on to that, is that I loved how when they brought up the feud in the documentary, like she told this very moving story that drew me in.
It took us out of narrator world.
Yeah, where
I
she
loved
said, you know, I was standing there with my sister. I didn't notice her. I wasn't snubbing her.
It's-
and you believed it.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to back when she's talking to Betty Davis and she's calling her sister.
P.S.
a bitch.
This is the best episode we've
This
seen
is the
yet.
best episode we've seen yet. Jake said this was the best episode of television
No,
he's ever seen.
this one said that was the best episode of television I've ever seen.
You know,
and glitter shot down in rainbows
I really
from the
enjoyed
sky.
it. I really enjoyed it.
But I'm not
I
up
think
for
it's-
doing that kind of superlative.
Well, why not? Why not? You say that about shit all the time.
Well, but it's obvious that I'm joking. You were serious.
No, you
and it's
usually say it about
ridiculous.
guys that you want to fuck.
Well, I'm obviously joking.
I don't think you are.
Let's move on. What's yours?
Okay. Stop worrying what you're doing.
No,
Move
no,
on.
no. That's a terrible.
That's a terrible
terrible.
key.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's why I did it. Okay. But yeah, I
was
love that.
Painful.
Um,
Painful. That song deserves better.
Well, I'll talk about that later because that's the end of the episode. But you know what? This really wasn't a moment, but maybe a dramatic moment, but something that really influenced me.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
it's the scene with Hetty Hopper and Joan Crawford.
Hedda.
Hopper and
God.
Joan Crawford, where they're calling everybody, which this is all true. If you're watching this and think that a lot of this is falsified, no. Joan Crawford did call all these women. She lobbied to have herself. This is all true.
Which is shady as fuck.
And really, this episode is about Joan Crawford in
yeah,
a way.
and in a way, and this has been the greatest character sketch that we've had probably since episode 1 or 2.
Yes, but what I will say. Oh, this is one of my tea bags, and I'll say it now. It is so
this
much.
is such a
I
mess.
feel like this episode was a great metaphor for the show, or for the ladies, because Joan needed it all to be about her. She was all about appearance. But I will say,
that's that Hollywood royalty-ish, like
Yes.
queen, dowager, yeah.
But I will say, I feel like for me, in the few scenes that Betty Davis was in, she was just, or even more. Her scenes were just as powerful, and also she had just as big a presence as Joan Crawford did.
I agree,
even just the little snippets.
because you realize she wanted it just as much,
Yes,
and she did not want to admit it, and you finally saw that in a couple things that I'll talk about later.
yes, and they just the direction and the right they used. Joan had to say that in so many actions and words, and Betty did.
Agreed.
I loved it.
I want to.
This episode makes me Twitter. Not Twitter like tweet. Like,
No, like
actual
asshole
Twitter, like
Twitter.
the way...
Like,
yeah.
Like the asshole spins around.
Mm-hmm.
I would be remiss if I did not talk about hats in an episode. So, the Hedda Hopper's hat, I enjoyed, like that kind of sweep of peacock feathers. And I also enjoyed... Joan wore 2 hats this time, a gorgeous red one, and that fur hat that she wore when she went to go see Anne Bancroft.
That was beautiful.
Whoever is the hat master, whatever they're called,
It's costumes.
I guess. I feel like on this show there should be a whole person just for hats.
They're, you know what? I don't think there is, but I would like
Hat wrangler.
I would like. You know, what? I'm going to find out who the costume person is.
Haberdasher.
I'm going to find out who the costume person was for this, and we're going to interview them because they're
Send
not
them a
going to want
fan
to talk
letter.
to us
No.
at all. By the
I'm
way-
sure it's some queen like Leslie Jordan from like
it's true.
Will and
It's true.
Grace.
By the way, the actress who played, and I'm going to say it again, Anne Bancroft, was riveting.
That was this is.
I don't know where she came from.
This is what we heard. That actress is riveting.
She's Clint.
And it was
line
literally
producer Clint.
I looked
Can you
over
find
to my
out where
left,
she is?
and and it looked like there was like, and Truman Capote from heaven went, "That's a faggy thing to say." So
She was, though. Admit it. She held her own.
it's like
with
when you
Jessica
said,
Biel.
"This is divine."
Not Jessica Biel. What's her
You're
name?
an idiot.
Jessica Lange. She held her own with Jessica Lange. She did. I hope
Jessica Biel would do terribly on this show.
Jessica Biel would do terrible. You know, Jessica Biel is getting Justin Timberlake's penis inside her, so she's doing fine.
Have they had a baby yet?
Yes, they had one already. They have a
Forget
little
about
boy.
that. I can't keep track of
you
straight
imagine
celebrities'
having-
children.
Who can?
I'm sorry.
Can you imagine having sex with Justin Timberlake?
Even gay celebrities, I can't keep track of their.
I can't keep track of them either. I don't even know where
that's
we
mine.
are now.
You're in your second tea bag. Your
Oh.
second one.
Okay. I loved. Oh. I miss phone books. Remember in the Joan and Hedda
the
scene
fuck is
when
this?
she pulls? No, don't. Remember when Joan? She goes to the door and she pulls out a big phone book, and that's what like.
I agree.
Remember that?
I
used to-
have a phone book nook in my apartment.
You
that's
do,
really great.
and it's
Yeah.
and you keep your Christmas tree there. That you just simply move from your living room and put in the nook.
You know what? I
And
consider
you know what?
I consider it whimsy.
You know what? Whimsy,
It's whimsical.
Whimsy, my ass. Whimsy is having like a blanket on your wall as decorations.
This is the symbol for wrap it up.
You guys, it's a foot-long
This is
tree.
the symbol for wrap it up.
Literally has 12 ornaments on it.
No one gives a
She
shit.
can't. Literally, she could put it in a box. Anyway, but no, I used to look through my mother's phone book. I used to just think I would think, oh, how wonderful it would be
and
to,
then you
to know
put
all
on her
these people.
heels and wish you could be her.
Yes, and you make calls and hello, Evelyn, I'm calling you to invite you to a party on Friday. Oh, it's
Your
just,
mother
it's just
never
a little
did
cocktail
that.
mixer. That's what I used to do and pretend I would literally imagine dialing the phone and looking through a phone book. That is gay. I even think I crossed my legs.
I wasn't going to say that.
And I would
but,
talk in that mid-Atlantic like you do because I saw a Katharine Hepburn movie.
I
saw
spoke in Mid-Atlantic the entire weekend. So
I think I saw it when I saw that movie Topper. Isn't that with Katharine Hepburn?
I can't remember, honestly.
It's where he dies and then he's a ghost.
I think that is Topper.
I think it is Topper.
Clint, you can help us with this.
Clint, you can help us with that.
Okay, my next one.
Look, I really put, I want a phone book.
Anyway, I want to piggyback on that and talk about the manipulation game that Joan and Hedda did. Like this is some heavy shade, like under the shade tree shade.
You know it's bad when even Jake goes, that's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
And she did.
Because I kind of believe in doing what you need to win sometimes. And manipulate, and just if there's a little subtle manipulations, little mind games, you know what? It's all in the game of life. Is that from something? What's that Santana song? It's all in the game of love.
I don't
Kind of similar.
I don't like Santana.
Oh, that album is terrible. But I'm saying
That one song, Play by Carlos Santana. That doesn't rhyme. It doesn't
I wish
rhyme.
I could erase you at this moment because you just put that song in my head. Like I
hate
wish
it.
I was like on Bewitched and I could just like boop you out of
I
the
love
world.
it. My boyfriend was playing that the other day, and I just went over to his phone and pressed the forward button. And I said, I'm sorry, it's a terrible song. I'm not listening to it.
Anywho,
We are off track tonight.
it's your fault for having coffee.
We're like
Never
a runaway train.
Never having coffee again.
Choo,
Never.
choo, choo, boogie.
Do your next one.
Okay, my next one is, that getting ready montage was one of the best getting ready
I
montages
agree.
I've ever seen.
With the women coming in and going upstairs. And
Yes, and they're like, she's like, don't talk to Miss Crawford.
Don't look. That's the worst accent I've ever heard.
What, it just sounded like
That's-
Mamacita.
No, it sounded like Lucy. I'm home.
I don't know. I don't do accents.
You will never ever get a job where you have to do an accent. You will never.
You don't know my accent life.
No, I do. You just don't have it in you.
You know, I have good oral skills.
Yeah, I'll never see those. Thank God. Move on. So you like the montage?
I love them with the women walking up, and also, I think I need it, but I think you need it more. You need a bathroom that literally has a barber's chair in it that you just sit
I would
in.
love that, and someone just fixed me.
If someone just fixes you,
But honestly, everyone out there should have gasped when they put the silver on her hair.
Which again, I looked that shit up.
It happened.
Really happened.
And she's like, Edith had this idea of all silver, and it happened. And like, I gasped when I saw her with the hair and the dress, and
she
when
put the
George
plastic thing
Cukor,
over.
that big old queen, came to the door, and she's like, "Don't do this." Wonderful.
It was great. It was great.
This show is made for gay men.
It really, and the show was
It
directed
really
by
is.
Ryan Murphy, the Queen of Queens.
I really think because there's a new
Queen of Queens.
Again, coffee. No more. Look, there's been so many things about women directors lately, and there's a
lot of them.
What show is
Feud.
it? What show? Yeah, is that really true?
Yeah, Susan Sarandon. One of the reasons Susan Sarandon picked this project was because over half the episodes are directed by women.
I kind of wish there were female writers. That's one thing I really wish.
I haven't looked on to know see who the writers
Tim
are.
Minear has been writing recently, but
I needed to follow him on Twitter.
Anyway,
she is our friend. We need to go to dinner with Tim Minear.
She's our people. Anyway, I thought that silver moment, I was like, that is some Elsa second level shit, where she like showed up, and trust me, I know Elsa. I did a whole number in an Elsa dress in a instead of let it go, I did Let Me Blow, but that's you can probably find that on the internet somewhere.
Or you can't because
anyway.
that song's
My
copyrighted.
next one
All right.
is, of course, this is my last one.
Silver.
Pennies.
Sorry, we can't talk about
the silver
silver and
aria.
not sing the silver aria, but we don't know it.
Silver from Ballad of Baby
It's
Doe.
the most beautiful
That's not the end. That's not the end.
in
They don't use the word metal. Oh, God, I'm horrified.
Sorry, I got a little frog in my throat.
Yeah, more than that. You had those notes, but you don't anymore. When Betty Davis, this is my huge moment, when Joan Crawford took over the green room, when Betty Davis burst in, the door flew open, my chest got tight. Honestly, because I knew some shit was going to go down. And that's when, and she looked at her, and she looked like that kind of like woman wrong that she had in like Dangerous and all that look, and you just said, this is not going to go well. And Joan Crawford was like, hello.
And Betty Davis didn't say anything. That whole moment was, again,
Since
Ryan
someone says it's the best episode of television they've
Ryan
ever
Murphy
seen.
should get should get
Here we
nominated
go.
for an Emmy.
Now we're
just
dealing
for
out
that.
Emmys.
We are.
Now
we
we're-
are. Because
Now
when
we're
she
handing out Emmys.
no, but when she walks by her and then the music and then you just literally, I realized I was.
You notice that gay men are the first to give out. That's so Oscar worthy. It will win the Oscar.
It's true. But didn't you?
Shit.
Did you realize you were holding your breath as well until
I was.
until Betty
I
Davis
was.
went and took a breath in, and
I
I went,
agree.
"Oh my God, I wasn't breathing either." You know what? You would be
No, I
just
agree.
as gay if you haven't been in San
agree.
Francisco getting banned in your
San
Francisco up all night,
Anyway,
smoking cigars and giving blowjobs in alleys.
What's your? I did not get blowjobs in alleys. Just anyway. What's the? Oh, my neighbor's playing guitar. How sweet.
Oh, he is.
What's your last one?
That's the last one.
What's your last one? That was my last one. And then I have some
quotes.
strong tea.
Okay, I know I have. I talked about
because I want to eat.
I talked about Betty and Olivia. I really
Don't. Oh God.
What? No. You know what though? I was going to say I where was it? I thought. I loved the scene.
How much did you love it?
Loved it with Betty Davis and Olivia de Havilland.
That's a great point.
I thought that was the thing of like
Let them have being friends.
that was
Yeah.
a really smart way.
She was the star. I'm sorry. She was. Catherine Zeta-Jones was the kind of the star of this episode, and you did not see it coming.
And you did not see it coming.
Yeah.
And what I thought was so good about it is that, you know, this show I feel like is humanizing a lot Betty Davis, but you got to see Betty Davis actually not just get along, but actually love another female colleague and have love for
and
them.
they respect each other. And she didn't let a lot of people in.
And she didn't let a lot. So it made me actually more sad. Again, that because I think if Joan Crawford wasn't so damaged and wasn't, she could never.
I don't think they'd have a chance of ever.
I don't say they would be like good friends, but I think
No.
Betty Davis would have treated her better.
Betty Davis respects strong women, and Joan Crawford
wasn't strong
is weak
in her.
Is weak for her conception.
Yeah, that's true as well.
They are polar opposites.
Yes, I do also want to know if Geraldine Page actually really.
That dialogue was.
It was so good. I wondered if it was real.
I would really like to know the story there.
Yeah, I would love it if she.
The Anne Bancroft, I might believe it.
Oh, that actress.
Yeah, we get it.
But Geraldine Page, when she said she can take the Oscar,
yeah, that's what. And that I want to piggyback on that. We're now to strong tea. It's quote and quotables. You still can't get that.
Speaking of tea,
you are not going to get more. We're almost done.
You know what? If you can get your goddamn Indian food.
All right. No, it's not Indian food.
Sure is. Getting cut off.
Yeah, boy, the most unprofessional thing ever.
You know what?
Talk about a cliffhanger. My first quotable strong
beer
tea
is called Nooner, by the way. I'm drinking a Nooner.
Not the first Nooner.
Boy,
I love a good Nooner. Or a good morninger. Or a good afternooner. Or a good eveninger. Or a good midnighter. They're all good.
They're all good. That was funny.
So Betty Davis has the first one that I love when she says at a press conference, she says, "It's an honor just to be nominated again." Oh, I love it. That's a fucking bitchy comment. I love it.
That was a bitchy comment. I love it.
What about yours?
Speaking of, I love that. I should say this to you more often. Where Hedda Hopper says, "I think you've had enough of that iced tea."
Why does my cup smell like a skunk?
I don't know. Maybe you put it up your ass.
That's a strange thing to say.
Okay, I like that.
The next one is Miss Corey Joan Crawford's #ThisWay and.
Am I going to go?
Oh, okay, I got it.
God,
sorry, I couldn't read my writing.
Like a stenographer over here.
the secretary for the Academy guy says, "Miss Corey, Joan Crawford's coming this way, and she's not slowing down."
She was great.
I enjoyed it. She was great. That was a character actress who made the most of her line.
You know what she did? I also loved it that whenever they were making the phone calls where Joan Crawford, you would say something like this, where she said, she's talking about...
Oh, the backhanded compliments were many.
I mean, the way Joan Crawford threw shade at theater people.
That is some. She's like, you must be exhausted having to do matinees, 8 shows a week. It's so brave, really.
So brave. But
so brave.
When she's calling and she says, trying to convince people the Oscars, and she said, her Annie Sullivan seemed even more blind on screen. You would say that. You would say that.
I love that shady talk because there's something about insulting someone with trying to say something nice that is the highest form. I mean, it goes back to Oscar Wilde.
That's the Southern way.
It is the Southern way.
It is.
It's spectacular. My next one is
quote and quotable.
Thank you. This is what we were talking about with the Geraldine Page, and at the very end, Sarah Paulson actually said, Why are you letting her accept it? She's like, Hollywood should have to look at what they've done to her. I'd really be interested in knowing how much of that was true.
I know.
That seems like a really great
Tim
writer's
Meerkat,
line.
let us know, because I want to know. What's his name? Meerkat? Manir. It sounds like
Hakuna Matata.
We should do that for Cabaret. No, because you'd make me be the fat warthog.
There's no chance I would ever be a fucking warthog. I wouldn't do it. I would walk out if I had to be the warthog.
Okay, I loved where the quote where I believe where Joan is talking to Geraldine Page, and Joan says, "Although I would never date a man under 40, yes. Not enough money to keep this woman happy." Jake has actually said that. Literally,
and she just
said that.
And she just stares at the guy on the couch.
Powdered her nose as she did it.
That's some shade. And then my last quote and quotable strong tea is when they ask who the red carpet asked who Joan Crawford voted for, and they said, "Who did you vote for?" And she went, "The winner." That's the shadiest thing. That's
That was
shady.
shady.
That's like Eclipse level shade.
That is Eclipse level shade. Total eclipse of the shade.
Turn around, bright eyes. Turn around, bright eyes. That hurt.
That was.
That's my voice is weak.
What's
your last? Do you have anything else? Quotables?
You know what?
I always have a lot of quotables for this for some reason.
I think that I don't. Oh, you know what? I think I'll just say that.
I'm hungry.
I love the way we're almost finished. God damn it! I loved how because Joan almost, except for a few months, really seemed to almost relish what she was doing. That was so horrible. But
And then at the very end, I was going to say that too. She just kind of sat and you
Sure,
realized.
I'll let you say it. Go ahead.
You realize?
No, that's fine.
I started this
Have a
too, and
drink.
I was going to have that.
Sure.
2 Oscars, and she's still not happy. After all that.
Well, I think we saw the sadness. It's not even her Oscar. And she
Yeah.
sat there and ducked her head. But I felt like...
Way to go out on a high note.
Yeah. The 2 quotes that really, I think, really encapsulated this
throw that
episode
down
for
every
me.
time.
It's true. That encapsulated this episode for me is when
So you do have more quotes.
it's just 2, but it's from both.
God!
But they go in sync. It's when Joan Crawford's she's at when Anne Bancroft says, "Do you want to? Would this mean a lot for you? Whatever
do
to,
this,
to
will it make it
accept
go
for
faster?"
me? No. Do this. Will you accept this for me?" And literally, Jessica Lange pauses, and then she says, "Desperately."
Yeah.
And that's so much of what Joan Crawford is. And then I love how when Betty says in front of on the microphone to say, "I'm not ashamed to admit that I want this." To me, that is like the core
It's
of
very
both
empowering.
those women.
Yeah.
Yes, she was empowering, and this was the best episode of TV ever.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Rip Taylor just screamed in North Hollywood somewhere.
This was-
Girl, quit acting like a big queen.
Yeah, this is better than when, speaking of, the Wonder Woman episode where Linda Carter's sister Drusilla came and she was Wonder Girl.
Okay, we're
And
going
there's a cliffhanger. I think
we're
this
going
was
to-
almost as
we're
good
going
as
to
that.
end this because we've alienated our audience.
No.
Um,
ding, 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 ding. Wonder Woman.
Okay, no more coffee ever.
No more.
Anyway,
I didn't
so
have coffee. I had a skinny caramel macchiato with soy.
Everyone subscribe.
Everyone subscribe.
And please leave us a comment on our podcast. If you love our podcast, please rate us.
Leave
and
a review.
comment.
We're going to leave a link for this, or at the end of the video that's showing up probably right now in that little box in the corner right over there that says, "Should we recap this fucking show?" Let us know if you want to recap that logo.
Fire
show.
Island by
Fire
Logo.
Island.
Please don't. All right.
Don't. Leave a review. We love you.
I'm exhausted. Bye.